Asset management. Why is this important to your business? It's very important to know what data and systems you manage and what business needs they support. So, I'll give you an example. Your finance software. If that were to go down or were hacked, and maybe the company that supports that software no longer can support that software, that'll mean you may no longer be able to make payments, take payments. You may not be able to balance your accounts. You probably lose a lot of accounting information, people's, anything from account details, what your suppliers owes you. So that system, if it were to go down, you can see the huge impact it will have on your organization. So it's very important when it comes to asset management, you need to understand that it helps you establish and maintain the required knowledge of your assets. Over time, systems generally grow organically, and it can be hard to maintain an understanding of all assets within your environment. So this could be anything from these services may no longer produce any updates. So the service has unpatched updates. So I'll give you an example of an unpatched service. Windows 7 is no longer supported by Microsoft. I know some companies have got this extended license with them, but majority of us won't be able to update or use Windows 7 because Windows 7 doesn't have any more updates. So when it comes to cyber threats, it's open. Cyber criminals can find new vulnerabilities. A vulnerability is something that where a cyber criminal can exploit. So it exposes a lot more risk to that organization. Ensuring you know all about where these assets are is fundamental. It's a requirement on addressing these risks. So you can better understand when it means that that piece of software or that asset is no longer fit for purpose, and you need to move along. And you can probably predict that on the growth of your company. Maybe you got an application that was great when you are a smaller organization, but as you grow, you maybe need to upgrade that software as you got more users. So where do you start? So I would say this is a good starting point. As you can see on my screen at the moment, I've got two tables. So I've got one for hardware, physical hardware. So maybe you've got servers, laptops, phone systems, tablets. List them out. Work out what the value is that to your business. And when do you need to dispose of them? When you got a new company asset, maybe the life of that asset is 4 to 5 years. Because maybe that asset that you currently got may not be able to upgrade to Windows 11. Because at the moment we're on Windows 10, eventually Windows 10 will no longer be supported and we'll all need to move over to Windows 11. So what's the end of life of your asset? Software. As your business grows, you may find that the software that you have got is sufficient for you to grow, or maybe it's not. So listing out the software that you currently use. Also, start writing down some use cases for this software. Why is it important that you need this information? So I'll give you an example. Maybe you're using a third payment mechanism for your website, say PayPal. What are the implications if you were to move away from PayPal? Maybe you've been using it for 5 years and it's embedded well, where when a client comes on, they go to a portal, they make that payment. Maybe you want to move into another payment solution. So do you have an end-of-life solution for PayPal? Doesn't mean the software is going to go out to date. It may mean for your business needs for it is no longer efficient for you. Also, identify all the social media accounts you have internally. Employees move on, they change jobs. So you may have a marketing person employed, a manager or maybe a consultant who has access to loads of these different accounts that I've set up on your behalf. Do you have access to these accounts? Do you know who has used company email addresses? Has it been noted down? I had a scenario where I was working with a client and they counted for 10,000 websites which were not recorded. These were out on the web, they weren't tested, they were not recorded a part of their software asset management solution where they had to list off all the websites they had currently out there, because this company had a lot of service updates, so the services and products, so you had different landing pages, but obviously a product goes out today, our offering goes out today, but these websites were still live. And obviously websites and technology goes out today. It also can prone a opportunity for a cyber criminal to use those links and maybe change a few details around, especially if you've got no visibility on where they are or what links they've been added onto. Also, understand the digital footprint of all your staff. Do you do any kind of user awareness training for your staff on social media? What are they putting out on LinkedIn? What are they putting out on Facebook? Is it business appropriate? Also, you're probably thinking, how is this to deal with asset management? Well, it's very important to understand what social media information is out there. In terms of what they're publishing, what you're putting out there, that is tackled under cybersecurity training, which I would also recommend that each user is educated on the use of their social media and their digital footprint. Another thing I would recommend is create a network diagram. Understand, and a network diagram is basically drawing out what's currently on your network. So your computers, from your firewalls to your switches. As your business grows, it's very important to understand when these firewalls need to be replaced, what computers need to be removed, what needs to be upgraded. So you've got a full list of what's currently on your network. You'd be surprising that a lot of businesses don't do this, and that could lead to a weak point, maybe a firewall that has been updated for several years. Maybe there's a computer on the network which is running an old Windows software, maybe XP or Windows 7, which a cyber criminal can exploit. So it's very important that you understand what's on your network and you keep that network diagram updated. And lastly, only keep accounts, assets, what you need. If you don't need it, dispose of it, get rid of it, because they could actually expose a risk going forwards. So what are the benefits of asset management? It's the ability to identify what technology and information in your organization. The ability to identify and assess vulnerabilities that may present a risk to your organization. A vulnerability is where a cyber criminal can exploit or can propose a cyber threat to your organization. Ability to apply and maintain appropriate security control. To apply security controls, you need to know what you currently have got from software, from assets, so then you can apply better cyber security controls and implement them and provide the appropriate training to your employees. This would also, with this method and building this culture and this good habit, embedding it correctly, you'll be able to plan for future technology cycles when you need to move, grow, or move into maybe a new CRM system, maybe a new finance accounting system.